Behold, a seemingly ordinary Deliveryman crashes a high-stakes boardroom meeting, miraculously solving a billion-dollar crisis for a desperate company. But just as he's hailed a hero, his world implodes when he discovers his beloved wife entangled with another powerful man, leading to a devastating confrontation. The news screamed disaster. Royal Corp, a titan of industry, was crumbling, its valuation nosediving by a staggering $2 billion. Inside the opulent boardroom, the lady boss, a figure of fierce determination, paced before her shell-shocked executives. Her voice, sharp as shattered glass, demanded an immediate solution to this catastrophic meltdown. The advisor, a seasoned executive, could only offer grim tidings. The crisis was a relentless beast, seemingly unstoppable. The lady boss, her elegant facade cracking under immense pressure, clutched her phone, her mind racing for a strategy, any strategy to save her empire from ruin. She barked orders into the receiver, no time for pleasantries, a signature was needed now. Before her assembled team, all graduates of prestigious business schools, the lady boss unleashed her fury. How could these supposed elites, the creme de la creme, stand there and tell her nothing could be done as her legacy turned to ash? The advisor, his face etched with worry, explained their only lifeline. The colossal Cloud Corp was venturing into new territories, and every major player was scrambling for a piece of the action, a collaboration that meant survival. Yet, he confessed, their chances of wooing such a giant were terrifyingly slim. Suddenly, the tense atmosphere was pierced by an unexpected query from Ms. Bell. A man in a humble blue delivery uniform, the courier, stood defiantly at the entrance of this war room. The lady boss, incensed by the audacity of this interruption, dismissed him as a purveyor of some despicable, childish competitive prank. She, the formidable chairwoman of Royal Corp, a titan of Arcton's business world, sneered at his gall. How dare this nobody treat her monumental crisis like some trivial inconvenience? But the courier, an enigmatic smile playing on his lips, coolly retorted he wasn't peddling nonsense. He was merely stating facts, here for an urgent delivery, but first he possessed the very solution they craved. He commanded their attention, his voice surprisingly authoritative, instructing them to abandon their precious Project 3, a venture they had nurtured for ages. Instead, he declared they must pivot, channeling all resources into the long-overlooked Project Number 7. The lady boss was aghast. Royal Corp had already sunk a fortune, over $1.5 billion, into Project 3. She challenged his outrageous claim. No one in the entire region had ever dared to explore the field Project 7 targeted. With an almost supernatural confidence, the courier revealed the bombshell. Project Number 7 was intrinsically linked to the all-powerful Cloud Corporation. He even began to articulate the immense, game-changing benefits Royal Corp would reap, leaving the lady boss utterly speechless. "You're just a delivery man." The lady boss finally exploded, her composure shattering. How could he, a mere courier, possibly speculate on the intricate preferences of a financial behemoth like Cloud Corp? Yet, the advisor, his eyes suddenly gleaming with desperate hope, recognized the truth in the madness. Project Number 7, he proclaimed, was their only conceivable remedy, their solitary shot at redemption. If Cloud Corp chose to invest, Royal Corp wouldn't just survive, it would soar, scripting an unprecedented business miracle. A wave of exhilaration swept the room. The executives, their faces alight, urged the lady boss, "Let's do it." Still reeling from the whirlwind, she fixed her gaze on the courier. "Who exactly are you?" she demanded. He simply shrugged. "I'm just a delivery man," holding out a folder, his demeanor utterly unfazed by the corporate storm he had just unleashed. The courier then made a swift call, mentioning his last delivery was taking longer than anticipated, before casually preparing to depart on his humble scooter. Later, the lady boss, her mind a tempest of disbelief, summoned the guard. How had this enigma bypassed over 30 heavily armed security personnel? He was a phantom, a veritable monster who had effortlessly breached their impenetrable fortress. She and the advisor were utterly baffled. How could a simple deliverman possess such an intimate, almost preternatural understanding of high-stakes business strategies and the clandestine affairs of high society? Then the truly earth-shattering news arrived. Cloud Corp had officially confirmed a colossal $5 billion investment in Project 7. Royal Corp was to be the very first company in Xena to receive their coveted funds. The lady boss was thunderstruck. "Impossible," she gasped, immediately ordering a top-priority, all-encompassing investigation into this mysterious courier. Every shadow of his existence had to be brought into the light. Meanwhile, the courier, now revealed as the Mogul, was making his actual last delivery. As he neared a nondescript building, shadowy figures in tailored black suits materialized, blocking his path. A gleaming, ominous black Maybach glided to a halt. This was no random encounter. A dapper man, the emissary, emerged, approaching the Mogul with a grave pronouncement, "The 10-year period is over." He then presented a lustrous black card, the legendary Cloud Black card. The courier's disguise was shed, the Mogul had returned. Transformed, no longer in simple attire but in impeccably tailored suit, the Mogul conferred with the emissary. Their conversation drifted to the Vega family, who were ostentatiously gathering Arcton's dignitaries for a birthday celebration, perhaps overestimating their own importance. The emissary noted, with a hint of disdain, that without the Mogul's discreet influence, their grand party would likely be a dull, sparsely attended affair. Their incompetence was legendary. The Mogul, a knowing glint in his eye, instructed the emissary to subtly disseminate news of the project and to dispatch lavish gifts to the Vega family, all in the esteemed name of the Baxter family from Croyt. Clutching a simple brown folder, the Mogul mused that after this final delivery, he could finally bid adieu to his carefully constructed past. He approached a designated door, hand raised to knock, but it swung open prematurely. Before him stood a breathtaking vision in a sleek black dress, the bride, Myra Vega, his wife. The mogul was visibly jolted, her name a stunned whisper on his lips. Myra? Utter bewilderment washed over him. Inside the opulent hotel room, another man, the rival, exuding an air of arrogant affluence, sharply questioned the mogul's presence. He turned to the bride, a sneer playing on his lips. "You know him?" She confirmed, her voice flat. "He is my husband." The rival then introduced himself with a flourish. Deputy General Manager of Cloud Corp's Arcton branch. He patronizingly informed the mogul that they were clearly not in the same league, launching into a tirade about the legendary Baxter family, the architects of Cloud Corp's global financial dominance. The rival, was a personally appointed senior manager, a man of consequence. The rival then casually mentioned that he and the bride were merely old friends, discussing some pressing business matters. The mogul, his eyes narrowed with suspicion, shot back, "Why must such business be discussed in a hotel room with his wife?" The rival scoffed, branding the mogul as ignorant and pathetically narrow-minded for failing to comprehend such normal professional interactions, insinuating the mogul couldn't possibly understand what the bride truly needed or desired. "How can you be sure I don't understand?" The mogul retorted, his voice dangerously low. "Enough, Lars." The bride interjected sharply, her patience clearly exhausted. She commanded him to banish his disgusting thoughts, insisting she and Ian were simply discussing a potential partnership. "A partnership?" The mogul pressed. "Shouldn't I be informed?" The bride dismissed his query with a wave of her hand. "What is the use of that?" The rival chimed in condescendingly, explaining they were deep in strategic discussions, delicate matters far beyond the mogul's capacity to assist. The bride, her expression hardening, coldly instructed the mogul to leave, even offering a cursory apology to the rival for the unwelcome interruption. As they descended the grand staircase, a chilling silence hung between them. Then the bride turned, her eyes filled with a mixture of pity and disdain. She reminded him of her past offers to help if he faced troubles. "Why don't you trust me?" she finally asked, her voice dripping with disappointment. Then, delivering the final crushing blow, she looked him up and down. "Trust you? With the way you are now, how do you expect me to trust you?"